Honest question, would you rather get hit by one of Mike Tyson's luxury cars or let him punch you in the face? You didn't answer as quickly as you would have thought, did you? Mike Tyson started boxing from a very early age, and in 1985, everybody knew the 18-year-old's name. At this point in his career, he had 19 wins, all by knockout. With all that success came fame and wealth. Over his career, Tyson has earned up to $430 million from fighting, and just as quickly lost it when he filed for bankruptcy in 2003. However, before that time, and even a little after, Mike Tyson's car collection was basically a living organism. After becoming one of the greatest young boxers of all time, his first purchase was a new 1985 Cadillac Eldorado. Mike Tyson dropped a cool $30,000 for it at the time. And these classic convertibles sell for about 20,000 pounds or just under $30,000 if they remain in good shape today. That was a significant amount of money when Tyson bought it brand new at the time. But he either had his eye on one for a long time or really wanted to flex his heavyweight paychecks. Shortly after buying his Eldorado, and after the passing of his longtime trainer Cus D'Amato, Tyson also purchased a Cadillac Seville. In 1986, 19-year-old Mike Tyson won the WBA title when he defeated James Smith. Smith, after the loss, walked back to the locker room, while Tyson walked directly to Manhattan, blood still fresh on his gloves, to purchase a new Rolls-Royce. His manager at the time tried to talk as much sense into a guy like Mike Tyson as he can, asking him to wait until his 21st birthday to buy such a vehicle. Reluctantly, the newly belted champ did just that. However, nearly the minute he turned the celebratory age, the first thing he did was put a new set of keys in his pocket for a Rolls-Royce Silver Spur. This car cost him just shy of $150,000. But one Rolls-Royce is no fun, right? You know the saying, one Rolls-Royce is lonely, but two's a party? Something like that. In 1987, after annihilating Tony Tucker, Mike Tyson added the IBF belt to his collection. Pants safely secure from falling down, he returned to his favorite dealership and purchased a Rolls-Royce Corniche to the tune of just over $200,000. It started to seem like every year Mike Tyson was going to win a championship and then purchase a Rolls-Royce. However, his next few wouldn't cost him a dime. His promoter, Don King, began to realize the legendary athletic potential that Tyson's career could be headed towards, so he wanted to do whatever he could to keep him in his corner. In 1988, King purchased a "Hey, please don't leave me" gift in the form of two new Rolls-Royces. The first was an all-black Rolls-Royce stretch limousine that cost King about $220,000. Lastly, he knew how much Tyson loved his Corniche, so he bought him another one. This means that at the extremely young age of 22, Mike Tyson had a collection of 4 Rolls-Royces with the worth totaling over $500,000. You know how when you were a young kid and you had a friend who had a toy you really like? So then you would go to your parents and beg and cry until they bought you that very same toy? This scenario is kind of like that, only instead the kid has millions of dollars and just went to buy the toy on his own. By the early 90s, you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who didn't know the name Mike Tyson. It was at this time that Tyson began attending more Hollywood parties and celebrity events, making friends of equal fame and fortune. He befriended the late rapper Tupac Shakur, who at the time owned a white 1989 Mercedes-Benz SL Class 560 SL. This obviously meant that the boxing champ had to have one. He dropped $48,000 on this new beauty. This must have made him feel really good, considering he would begin to use purchasing a Mercedes-Benz as a coping mechanism of sorts. A few months after the purchase of his first, Mike Tyson again shocked the world, this time by losing to boxer James "Buster" Douglas in Japan in 1990. In order to cheer himself up, he purchased a brand new 1990 Mercedes-Benz 500 SL, outfitted with a mobile phone. It seems like win or lose, Mike Tyson was willing to drop an insane amount of money on a luxury vehicle immediately following the match. At this point, Tyson had acquired luxury cars across many different brands, including Rolls-Royces, Mercedes, and Cadillacs. However, throughout his vehicle buying career, it would seem that Tyson really found a match made in heaven when he began to purchase his Ferraris. In 1995, Mike Tyson regained his WBC title after defeating boxer Frank Bruno. Because of this, he decided to celebrate by going out for ice cream with his friends, and went to bed by 9 p.m. No, I'm kidding. He went to the nearest Ferrari dealership and purchased 2 of their supercars. The first was a Ferrari F50. This car was worth about $650,000 at the time of purchase, but it's now worth much more since Ferrari only made 349 of them. His Ferrari F50 packs a whopping 512 horsepower with a 202 mile per hour top speed. The second was a 456 GT Spider. This one, while not quite as fast as the F50, was still a marvel of a purchase, and he bought the two as a package deal. The Spider reportedly cost him over $210,000, and is said to be only one of two convertibles made by the luxury car manufacturer. Odd fact, Mike Tyson claims that his favorite arrest he ever had was while driving his Ferrari. Weird, but nonetheless, he claims he was not prepared for the speed and handling of the Ferrari, and he accidentally drove it straight through a convenience store window. The very next year after reclaiming his title and crashing his Ferrari, 1996 saw Mike Tyson acquiring his first Lamborghini, a yellow Super Diablo twin-turbo for $500,000. This purchase was made possible thanks to the prize money he won from his Las Vegas bout with Bruce Seldon. This was again another coping mechanism to deal with grief after the loss of his friend Tupac Shakur. With a fleet of cars in his garage, Mike Tyson seemed to only be getting started. It was then that one of the greatest known rivalries in sports was born. Between his matches with champion Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson splurged on a Bentley Continental T. There's no other way to put this. After Mike Tyson tried to eat Holyfield's ear, he found himself disqualified. But still, with $31 million in the bank from that fight alone. He then went on a spending spree. He bought a 2000 Lamborghini Diablo VT Roadster. He also eventually bought 3 Tigers and a Jaguar. The Jaguar was actually a car. His Jaguar XJ220 was an extremely fast vehicle he was happy to add to his collection. He also dropped just over $500,000 on a Bentley Continental SC, one of only 73 in existence. Though Tyson was raking in the big bucks as a world-famous athlete, his spending habits were not the most fiscally responsible. In 2003, he filed for bankruptcy. It seems as though dropping all your winnings on a new vehicle and other luxury purchases tends to drain your wallet faster than you would think. Nearly every car in his fleet is gone today. Over the years, he began selling off his cars, some at auctions. The cars, however, increased in value given that they were now collectible, having been in possession of the heavyweight champ. Some of his cars can be found in celebrity museums today. Things seemed very bleak for Tyson at a time, even being arrested for drug possession and use after his bankruptcy filing. However, since then he has gone to star in films and TV shows. Granted, he is more often than not playing himself. It's kind of hard to have an actor with the Mike Tyson face tattoo disappear into the role. Today, Tyson has tried his hardest to turn his life around. He is said to be making nearly $1 million per month with his new marijuana business. With profits like that, he could be looking to start up his luxury car collection from scratch yet again.